It's that time of year again where we're trying to figure out if we want to stay in the classroom, if we want to apply for that leadership job, if we want to leave education altogether. We don't know what we want to do. We all go through this phase and we're just trying to figure out what we want to do next. Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks that I have for helping you exit the classroom and transition out. So if you would like to learn more, please continue to watch. Hi guys, I'm Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. And like I said, in today's video, we're going to talk all about transitioning outside of the classroom. Now, my formula that I did in my personal life might not mix for everybody, but I do just want to share some things that I have done and some tips and tricks that I do have that I feel like will be helpful in your journey. Okay, so excuse me if I look down a little bit. I gotta look at my my notebook because I'm a notebook girl, so I gotta look down. So the first thing that I want to talk about, whoop, notebook falling all over the place. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is your education. Now, you typically have to have your master's to seek any type of advancement. So that's the first thing that I did. I might have waited 10 years before I went back and got my master's because I didn't see the point. But once I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready for a little bit more. I think I'm ready for a new phase of this. I feel like I'm really good at this and I just want to, be in a position that's going to challenge me a little bit more. I decided to go back and get my master's. So I went to Walden University and it took me a year. And I got my master's in teaching, but I specialize in reading and math instruction. So I started in October and I finished the next October. So it was literally a year, courses every 8 weeks. I was on the accelerated program and I just did it and I got it done. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw my journey is going through that. So that's the first thing. Eventually, I think I might want to go back and get my specialist or anything like that, or something like that, but I'm not quite sure yet. But along with your master's, you can also get certificates. So like maybe you want to be a reading coach or something, you can go back and get endorsements or certificates in those areas, and those also can place you in positions of leadership as well. So we want to first glance over our education and what does it look like, and we want to like tailor it there. Okay, the second thing that I recommend is identifying your strength. What are you really good at? Are you really good at teaching math? Are you really good at lesson planning? Are you really good at planning units? Are you really good at phonics instruction? Are you really good at small group instruction? What is it that in your classroom you find the most ease of doing? It could also be classroom management. So you want to look at everything that you have going on in your classroom. What brings you the most ease and what is the most simple for you to do? And that's where your strength lies. So once you identify your strength, you can say, okay, hey, this is the area that I want to tap into. For me personally, mine was phonics instruction, small group instruction. I will pull to my back table and teach all day. I also love teaching phonics, and I enjoy teaching math too. And I think I'm good at math because I'm a math girl, if that makes sense. Whatever. But my specialty, if you're asking me, is small group instruction and phonics instruction. That is my specialty. I can give you tons of advice about it. I can help you plan it out. I can help you strategize. That's my thing. Small group centers, phonics, I'm your girl. Okay, small group, it doesn't matter if it's reading or math. Okay, I can teach the crap out of some math because I'm a math person, but it doesn't matter if it's reading or math. Small group is my thing, and phonics instruction. So identifying your strength, what brings you the most ease, what's the easiest for you to do, that's your strength. Okay. Piece of advice that I have for you is positioning yourself where you're helping others. So that's where you can figure out, really again what you're good at. What do other teachers in your building see you doing and come to you to ask you for advice? Or if you share things on Instagram, what do you identify that you're good at and people come into your DMs and ask you to assist them or help them with? What is your strength? What are you good at? Because it's so easy for us to say, oh, you know, you would tap it through Instagram. Oh, I do that too. And then we want to talk about that. But this still doesn't identify what you are good at and what people come to you for advice. So we really want to look at and figure out what our surrounding areas or people around us, what do they come to me and ask me for advice? Like, I was always a model teacher for small group instruction. It didn't matter what building I was in. It didn't matter what grade level I taught. I was always a model teacher for small group instruction. It never failed. Every year they would bring everybody from my grade level or bring people in from outside of the building. It never failed to come in and see how I ran my small groups every year. So naturally, I identified that I can help people there. So teachers come and ask me, what are some things you do for this? What are some things you do for that? And I would help them. The next one is going to be one that's going to require you to push yourself just a little bit. But I promise you, on the other side of this, you'll find out more about yourself. Okay? All right. And it is seeking opportunities outside of your school building. You got to get out of that building and start seeking opportunities where you can put yourself in leadership positions elsewhere. Because once you put yourself in leadership position elsewhere, now you can add it to your resume, and now when you're sitting in interviews, you can speak to that experience. Like, I've done this conference, I've presented at this space, I've done this. Position yourself. You never know what you can do until you can try. So you just got to take a step of faith and step out there and say, hey, let me do it. If you fail at it, good. Because now you have feedback for yourself to go back and say, next time I do this. If you don't fail at it, good. Now you still have that same feedback to go back and correct yourself and say, okay, well, next time I'm going to try this. These are some of the questions I was asked during that session. So now I need to go back and tailor this. So you want to find opportunities outside of your school setting to present yourself. For example, I did like a couple of conferences with Black Girls Teach, and I feel like that helped me in the Instagram professional space. I've also done presentations at the district level at a couple of districts that I worked at. I also done, even in the school base, at the school level, I've done a couple of professional development. So it just, what I did was, again, found my niche, and that's where I presented at both the school level and the district level. And I even did a state conference as well in that same area, small group instruction. Okay, so all right, the next one, and this one can be kind of a little controversial, but I don't think so, but it's finding a good mentor. You have to put yourself in a position where you're always a learner. There is someone that you look up to, or someone that you admire the way they do something, or someone that is in the position that you want to have. And you can't always look at that person as a competition thing, because it's not always a competition, because I promise you, people have a lot more going on in their lives to be competing with you. And if they are competing with you, they just need to find something else to do with their lives. But that's neither here or there. But you want to find someone that you can say, okay, I like the type of leader that this person is, or this person has, like, you know what I'm saying, this person's role is the type of thing that I want to do with myself. This is where I see myself, and this person is in this role. So reach out to that person, ask that person questions, you know, you talk to them, because that person can probably even help you get put into that position. You know, they can give you tips and tricks that help them, that maybe can help you. Because at first, when I told everyone that I was an instructional coach and they would ask me how I did it, I didn't know how to explain to them. I was just like, I just applied for it, and then I got the interview, and I interviewed and I got it. but I didn't think about all of the other things that I had done and how I could help those people. I didn't think about that. So now when people come to me and they say, oh, what you think about this, or how do you think I should do this, I have no problem like, hey girl, you know, I think you should do this, or maybe you should try this, or you know, well, if you're good at that, how can you do this? I have no problem. I would sit on the phone with you for hours or text you for a while to, you know, help, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but I've also had people do the same thing for me, like, you know, when I had questions about something, or I wanted to learn how I could be a better presenter, or when I was learning how to make courses, I was talking to somebody about making courses. So I just feel like you need somebody that you can reach out to when you have those questions that have done the things that you want to do, because point blank period, we can think we know it all, but we don't. And sometimes we just need just a little bit of assistance and a little bit of guidance to help us along the way. And then the last one that I want to talk about that I feel like is probably the largest piece of this whole puzzle is you want to identify the type of leader that you want to be. Now, all of us have been under good leaders. We've been under bad leaders. We've been under leaders where it's just like, oh, I wish, you know, she's good, or he's good, but I wish he just would have did more of this with me, or did more of this with us, or oh, I don't mind them at all, but I just wish we could have done more of this. You can take all of those personality traits, the good and the bad, because sometimes I feel like some leaders get a bad rep when they're making decisions based off the school and not the person. Now, some of them do get personal, and some of them are just vindictive, and some of them are just mean, and some of them are just nasty. I could just tell you that from my personal experience. Some of them just are. But I honestly don't feel like when you have like a good, nice, like fair, firm and fair leader that you're just gonna come to those type of conclusions. So you just want to identify the type of leader that you want to be. Do you want to be the type that follows the rules and follows the book hand down, like from top to bottom, or do you want to be the type that gives a little bit too much grace, or do you want to be firm and fair and helpful? Do you want to be looked at as a helpmate? Do you want to be looked at as an expert? Do you want to be looked at as a like, how do you want people to view you in this leadership space or in this administration role? I want to be viewed as a helpmate, because I've had leaders, and I've been the most effective for me personally under the leaders that have been helpmates to me. They were helping me through things and helping me through this. You could get way more out of me than just telling me what to do, because I don't really do well with you go do this, and then I don't do well with that. But I really do appreciate and admire leaders who took the time to sit with me, explain with me, okay, let's do this, let's try this, who helped me as I was going through this learning process. But I do like to be looked at as somebody that my teachers can come to and ask me for advice, whether it be personal or professional. Sorry, my husband just sneezed and it scared me. All right, so but it just threw me off. Be looked at as a helpmate. Okay. Now, there are several different leadership positions that you can take in the education field. Not all of them lead up to administration, and not everybody wants to be administrator. So there are several types of leadership roles that you can take even when you're still in the classroom. You can be a grade level chair. You can be on a part of a district's curriculum writing team. You can be in the school administrative team. You can lead a committee. And then we can get into instructional coaches. You can be like a generalized one. You could be a specialized one. You can do that at the school and district level. If you're talking about moving outside of teaching as a whole, there are a bunch of different roles that teachers can play. You could be a curriculum writer, curriculum development. You can go into learning and development. You can go into project managing, because you do all of that stuff in your classroom on a daily basis. You can even, I know a lot of TPT creators that are instructional designers, because the only thing an instructional designer do is design instructional materials. So it's just, even if you want to take the outside of education route as a whole, I feel like these steps, identifying your strengths, your education, what you're good at, all that stuff is going to help you in that area as well, because you don't want to just blindly apply. Because I've also had interviews, several of them, in the ed tech space. I've interviewed to be a curriculum developer. I've interviewed to be a curriculum writer. I've interviewed to be an instructional designer. A lot of content development for companies too. But I live in Alabama, and a lot of them didn't hire residents that lived in Alabama. So I didn't get a lot of those positions. Well, I didn't get any of them because they don't hire people that live in Alabama. I would have had to live in like Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, and stuff like that, but not Alabama, which was super weird to me. But I just feel like all of these, identifying your strength, your education, tidying up your education, because education can also look like taking a couple of LinkedIn courses to help you in that space too. So I just feel like these steps can help position you into being not only a more effective educator, but it also can help you position yourself to take on some leadership roles in your school, in your life, maybe on your Instagram, your social media, and in your district as well. So if you have any question for me, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Y'all know what? Woo! That was a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Again, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share if any of this information has been proven helpful to you. Talk to you guys later. Bye!